Welcome back to the Organic Loan Warrior channel, everyone. Today we're going to switch things up. We're actually going to do a DIY project. Today we're going to do the wood Christmas ornament trees here, and we're going to show you the steps how to do that, and maybe you can do it yourself at home. Alright, so for your first cut, what you're going to do is you're going to make your miter saw go over to the 50 side on the left hand side, and you're going to take one of your boards, line it up, and drill it and cut it down. Alright, so for the second cut now, you're going to move your miter from the left hand 50 to the right hand 50, and take your 1x2 and place that in there and cut it. So after you have this, your second cut, what you want to do is you want to take your first cut with the 50. This was when we had the miter on the left hand side here. You want to put that over here. Then this is your second cut. And you want to line this up like here. And then the next step is we're going to determine how big you want your tree. You want it small, large, or very large. For now, I'm going to do it about here, and I'm going to show you how I line the board up next on how I do that. Alright, so once you have your boards lined up, the next step is to figure out how big you want your tree. For me, I'm going to put it about here. So what you want to do is you want to take your pencil, you want to lay your 1x2 across. This is just a scrap piece I had, but you can use a full piece if you want. And then just mark it off on the bottom here with your pencil where you want to make your cuts. So once you have your marks, I have one here and I have one here, you want to bring it back over to the miter saw, and you want to put your miter saw on about 20 degrees. We have this on the right hand side here, and you want to line it up as best as you can to that mark, and then cut. And then you want to move your miter saw over to the 20-degree mark on the other side here, on the left-hand side of the zero, and then line it up as best as you can to that mark that you made and cut. So once you have your cut, you want to bring your cut over here to your tree, and then just work it up to where you have it nice and tug, and there you have your tree. Alright, so once you have your two bottom marks marked out, you want to take your right hand board first, bring it over to the miter saw. On the left hand side of the zero, you want it at 20 degrees, and you want to line up your blade right to that mark and cut. Our next step is take the left side board, bring it over to your miter saw. Now you want to move the miter cut on the right hand side of the zero to your 20-degree mark. Line up your blade to the line that you made and cut. So now that you have everything cut, that was the left hand board that we just cut. We have this on the top part, the right hand board with the angle meeting here. You have your bottom board, and the next step is to nail them in. If you don't have a nail gun, a brad nailer like I have, you can use screws, but I suggest you pre-drill your screws so you don't crack any boards. But today I'm going to use a nail gun. Now that you got your nail gun out, like I said, you could use screws, but please pre-drill so you don't crack the wood. You want to line up your top here. You want to put your nail gun on an angle so the nail doesn't pop out the side and it goes through this board and not at the side of the board here. And then nail it in. Next step, line up your bottom board here and nail it in. And there you go, you have your board nicely nailed. So your last step is to make a base. This is a 1x2, this is a 1x4. These are just common boards that you find in Home Depot, nothing fancy. We don't need to do anything fancy here. But what you want to do is just take your 1x4 here, leave the triangle off the base a little bit, measure that with your tape measure. So we got about 3 inches there. Let's come into 3 inches right here, off the other end of the triangle. Next, we're going to take our board over to our miter saw. We're going to put it right back into the 0 position again. We're going to take our board and cut. Line up and cut. So once you have your cut done, what you want to do is line up that board there. Before we were using 2-inch brad nails to put in the edges here. Now we're going to use 1 inch because the 2-inch are going to be way too big. So if you're using screws, make sure you use smaller screws. Your Christmas tree here all nailed up nice and neat. What you want to do next is you can stain it, you can paint it, you can do whatever you want with it. I like staining it. This is the mini wax. This is actually the early American. What you want to do is I like using the foam brushes because I can just throw them away when I get done. Just dip it in there. And just go to town. Just stick your paintbrush in there, get a decent amount, go to town. And what I like to do is once I have a decent amount on here, I like to take an old shirt, cloth, whatever you want to use, and then just wipe it down, and then let that stain really soak in there. And then take your paintbrush again and keep going until you have everything filled up. So once you get done staining, it's going to look light in the beginning, but once you put a couple coats on here, this is 2 coats, this is what it's going to look like. And then the next step, we're going to take this inside and we're going to show you how we hot glue the Christmas balls inside the tree. So we're back inside now. The Christmas tree is nicely dry now with 2 coats of the stain of the early American, as you can see here. And over here are the Christmas ornament balls that we are going to actually use. They're shatterproof, which I really like. They're not glass, so if you have kids at home or you accidentally knock this over, they're not going to shatter, they're not going to break, and there's not going to be glass all over the place. I actually found these at Walmart. This is actually a box of 50 here. I think they were about 10 bucks, so pretty cheap. You can't really beat that for the price. And they come in a bunch of different colors. Silver and gold, I believe, was one. They had pink. I made a pink tree last year for a lady at my work that was a breast cancer survivor. And like I said, super cheap, super lot of different ones that you can pick from, and I definitely recommend you checking them out. So the next step, once you pick out the actual color of balls that you want to put in your tree, is simply just take the balls, take your hot glue gun. You can use any kind of hot glue gun you want, and then basically you just want to take a dab of your hot glue, put it around different corners where they meet up where you're going to be actually doing it, and then just let it stick there. Hold it there for a few seconds, and then you're good to go. And then I kind of alternate depending on the colors that I'm doing. So here you can see I'm doing silver and gold. So I might just pick a silver one this time so it lines up good with the gold next to it. And then just hot glue it, stick it there, hold it there for a few seconds. Next, take a gold one, And be generous with the hot glue because you definitely want them to stick together pretty well. And then hold it in place for a few seconds. And then on to the next one. And then you're going to keep doing this as you work your way up. And then you're done. And there you have our finished project here, all nicely hot glued in. Don't be afraid to be a little generous with the hot glue. It's fine. And the little web things that are, come from the hot glue, just pick them off and you'll be fine. One quick tip, if you want to do it and you want to show less of the hot glue from behind where you're not going to see the hot glue as much. I think that's a great tip in hot gluing the balls in. And again, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will get back to you, of course. And again, I will have more future videos about organic lawnware coming in the springtime about lawn care. Obviously we're going into the winter time right now, and obviously there's not as much lawn care stuff to do right now, so we might have some future DIY videos like we have here today. If you would like that, please comment below. If not, I'll see you in the springtime.